Okay, I wanted to make an amendment or an addendum to the video I made earlier because prices kind of been it surprised me. I didn't expect this. And just to quickly tell the reason why I didn't expect it, you have high volume on the sell off, lots of volume rolling in on this sell off. Then you have a gap up, sell off. Then you have a wick up, new low. There's nothing here that shows anything that, like, after something like this, what you're looking for is this retest. I mean, that's what you want, is just place your fucking sell, walk away, don't think about it again. And then you have this doji right after we wicked up and closed below. You have this doji. It's the lowest volume doji that we've had in over 2 weeks of trading days. And then we just have a gap up and it closes above. It's just abnormal. Something about it sitting with me wrong. Um, Maybe it's just confirmation bias. Maybe I'm just wrong about this, and I'm trying to find reasons to validate my position. But as it stands, my sentiment has not changed. I'm very short, and here's a big reason why. This looks very Wyckofian to me. And so I pulled up some Wyckoff distribution patterns. This isn't a good one. I don't like the ones that have just the lines drawn because you just, I like candlesticks. Like, show me I want to see a real chart. So you have usually you have a head and shoulders type pattern. Like if you were to draw a line through here, you would have left shoulder, head, right shoulder, right? Usually you have some type of head and shoulders at the preliminary resistance before the automatic rally. This one's labeled very strangely. This should be sign of weakness. It doesn't matter. People label them differently, but you can see how much this looks like this, right? It's what happens after that we're kind of interested in right now. Let me see if I can find one that looks even more like us. This one, right? So we pull up, boom, then we have an up thrust. When did we have the up thrust? We had the up thrust after a sign of weakness. So you have this pull up, boom, this would be where our head and shoulders is, and we form a new low, and price seems to be rolling over. Way more than it's rolling over here. Price rolled over on us. What happens is, it happens right here. Boom, 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 bink, bonk, bing, bong, bing. So you have this sign of weakness with a high volume sell-off bar. The distributors realize that the buyers have abandoned the asset here. And you can tell by the volume. As soon as we quote unquote broke out here, volume completely disappeared. The only time volume rolled in was on sell-off. Well, that was reasonable volume there. But as a general rule, we have some dormancy going on here. And the big money realizes that the buyers have abandoned the asset. So boom, you have this sign of weakness. They come in and they push price. Usually it's impulsive. Usually it's bim, 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 a nice Elliott, right? Once it gets up, and look at the volume on this Elliott. That's not real. That's not actual buyers lining up to buy this thing at all-time highs. It's not. It is distributors pushing price to a new all-time high so that they can distribute. And one of the things that I can almost prove without a doubt how that is, all of the distributors that were buying here, that were pushing this up, look at the volume, add it up, they push the price. The huge volume rolls in on these sells. Okay? So they made back, they pushed, instead of having to sell off their asset down here because it fails and they have to sell it here at this support line or wherever the hell they do it. If they sell everything they own, they collapse the price down to here. So instead of allowing that to happen, they buy, they hold this fake support, fake breakout, right where volume drops off is right where it breaks out, and they push the price calmly, slowly, with very little volume. There's no real buyers here. It's just them. And then they sell it off here. I bet these 3 bars of volume, these 3 red bars, they were able to get out of everything they bought here. And now they have all this time to sell off, right? And they do. Are you kidding me? They do. Boom. They're selling the fuck out of it right here. And they're selling it at $440 instead of fucking $390. Okay? You have your sign of weakness. You have what's known as the upthrust. It's usually an Elliott. Then you have a distribution. Then you have an upthrust after distribution. This is usually actually buyers. They believe this. And so while you're offing all of your fucking assets to them, they go, let's go do things. This could have been distributors. I mean, there's really no telling, but this is what's known as upthrust after distribution, UTAD. Then we have an Elliott impulse down, which is natural. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The deal with Elliott's is that almost always wave 4 is the most complex wave. So this is where they kind of got me. We had impulse, and then you get confused in here. You're like, man, there's big volume bars up. There's, these engulfing. There's, 3 white soldiers. This is a very confusing wave. And usually if it's not wave 4, it's wave 2. But one of the corrective waves is always very, very complex. And this is very complex. I wish I could just grab that section somehow, but I don't know how. But like, if you look at this, there's very few people that could take that chunk of candle bars and make sense of it without context. What happens before and seeing it after, obviously, is very easy. But the point is, it's very complex, and that's where they trick you because they're unloading. And the long and the short of it is, if you can't look at a Wyckoff distribution pattern and see exactly what we're looking at here, then I don't know what to say about you. But this to me looks like last point of supply. The LPSY occurred here. And this is an Elliott. 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly a very complex 4, a very confusing and complex 4, 5, and then we'll have a corrective wave. But I'm expecting big things down, and I would say that anything that bounces hard to the bullish side that you're in, exit. Try to get out of some of it. And something I was talking with Jake today about was instead of viewing selling an asset as selling it, maybe the easier way to view it is, how did I thought about this and worded it well earlier. And it's more that every minute that you hold an asset, you're choosing to buy it minute after minute after minute. Because by not selling it, you're saying, I'm comfortable buying this at this price. So I think that maybe that makes sense. So instead of going, do I want to sell this? Say, would I buy this right now? Right? And so looking at this chart, we are kind of in that no man's land. It's dropped down. You're getting it cheaper than you've gotten it in how many months? Um, it's an ambiguous price point. Maybe I'm not thirsty to sell here, but I'm also not thirsty to buy. And I want to wait, and I want to be patient, and I want to see what price is going to do. I'm looking for a short here. I'm looking for a short here. And I'm not in a rush. I'm not going to look at any charts that aren't on the daily. Once I've made my mind up, I'm going to go down to 8, 4, 2, 1, etc. and try and find the prime entry. But as it stands right now, with this Heikin-Ashi doing what it's doing, and with this overall Wyckoff doing what it's doing, and with this Head and Shoulders having broken down and doing what it's doing, I see no reason to be bullish, and I see no reason to overreact to a little peak up above the neckline here. Yeah, that's it. Be careful. Do your own research. Don't trade emotionally. And instead of thinking about whether you should sell an asset right now, say, should I buy the asset right now? And if the answer is no, you wouldn't buy the asset right now, then holding on to your holdings in that asset is a buy. You're choosing to buy it at that price at that moment and hold it overnight or for a week or whatever. And yeah, so full disclosure, I got off work, got a bottle of Bim Jean, and I've only had this much, but when you're dehydrated and you're working in the sun that much, it's probably 2 beers worth. You get that fuzzly, buzzly little feeling, and basically you get shit canned off of 2 shots. So I hope this video didn't completely suck. Just wanted to go over some things. That's all. Good talk.